Hey, what's up everyone, Raging Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. And oh man, are things getting interesting when it comes to gaming right about now. To start with, I gotta say, the conspiracy theorist in me has always believed that GamerGate was a godsend to the AAA gaming industry, because for a good 1 to 2 years it kept people's attention away from the industry's dirty anti-consumer business practices, which are now once again coming into the spotlight. So I wouldn't be surprised if another conveniently placed scandal happened to occur, and be pushed by like 15 separate journalism sites simultaneously. So what's going on now? First up, I once again proved that I am indeed a prophet. The moment it was announced that Sonic Mania was being delayed by 2 weeks for just the PC version, I came out and said, hey, what do you guys want to bet it's so they could ram Denuvo into it? And what do you know, I was right again. And for the record, prophetic powers have nothing to do with this. It's all just simple pattern recognition. This isn't the first time a company has done this. If only the PC version of a game gets delayed by a week or two, it's pretty much a safe bet they're ramming Denuvo into it. And at the same time, they also pulled another unfortunately pretty common dick move. They bundled another game with the pre-order for Sonic Mania. So if them being so secretive about adding Denuvo happens to be a deal breaker for you, if you played the game it was bundled with for over 2 hours, or had it for over 2 weeks, guess what? You can no longer refund the game unless you go directly through Steam's customer service. So if you guys insist on pre-ordering, save it for about 2 days before the game launches, just to be safe. And don't play anything it came bundled with until the actual game comes out, and you verify they didn't pull any of this underhanded shit. So now that little bit of news is out of the way, onto the main story. Middle-earth Shadow of War fans up in arms over Pizza Roll tie-in. Can't be too bad. I mean, Halo and Call of Duty and them have been doing tie-ins for a while now, so what's different this time? Well, let's take a closer look as to what's going on with Middle-earth Shadow of War. Being published, by the way, by WB Games, who at this point are now well known for saying that, oh, we don't care if our game is buggy and broken, we're not going to fix those bugs, we're just going to focus on DLC. So remember this before you buy any of their games, by the way. Middle-earth Shadow of War has made many headlines for its inclusion of microtransactions, allowing the players to buy a variety of chests with in-game or premium currency, the latter of which will guarantee better items. While we don't yet know enough about the game to properly judge how these microtransactions will affect gameplay, the mere inclusion of them in a $60 single-player focused title has tested gamers' tolerance. At this point, I'm gonna have to confess, I've been playing Asian MMOs for almost 2 decades now, and even way back then, they were already doing like this whole loot box thing. Or if not a loot box, something similar to it. In the sense that you pay real-life money to get some upgrade material for your weapons or something, and you only had a chance of them being upgraded, it wasn't a sure bet. So if you wanted to level up your gear without possibly hundreds of hours of grinding and farming, you were going to be paying the big bucks. So yeah, Asian MMOs, they've been doing that for ages. And even way back then, in the days of Conquer Online, I was saying it's only a matter of time until this comes west. As much money as these companies are making, Western game companies are not going to be able to look at this and say, oh yeah, we're not going to do that. No, of course they're going to do it. And all the haters kept ganging up on me saying, oh, that only works in Asia. Western gamers wouldn't put up with this shit. And look where we are now. But even I could not have seen how far it would go. Because now premium currency loot boxes are making their way into single-player games too. That one I did not see coming. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that the industry has decided to one-up me on this. I really am. So anyway, premium currency loot boxes in a $60 single-player focused game. Sounds bad enough. But they continue. But yesterday, when it came to light that Shadow of War would have an official pre-launch tie-in program with Totino's Pizza Rolls, through which players can earn premium currency and other content, that tolerance limit was shattered for many. Its main offering, the chance to win an Xbone S, controller, t-shirt, and digital copy of the game, is par for the course, and raised no eyebrows. It was the addition of bonus rewards of premium currency that you can use on microtransactions that have made people upset. Reading the fine print only made it worse. There will be exclusive content. Oh yeah, that last part right there, that's gotta be the deal breaker. And just like a lot of this other information, that's being so far kept under wraps. They haven't released enough info about the game or the microtransactions for us to make informed decisions on the matter. I wonder if they're doing the same thing that Sega did with Sonic Mania when they secretively rammed Denuvo into it. The only reason for them to be secretive about something is because they know it's not gonna go over well. But that aside, this does not seem all that unusual, well, again, outside of applying to a mostly single-player game. These tie-ins have been done before, but it's the exclusive content piece that's interesting. And of course, you never know what that exclusive content is. Is it going to be something like retailer-exclusive pre-orders? Like some actual content? Is it just going to be a simple outfit like that 7-Up one from Dynasty Warriors? We don't know yet. But it's true, if you go to the promotion's official webpage, it does say that. You can earn up to 300 gold pieces, and for the 90-count pizza roll snacks, there will be exclusive content. And in this game, a gold war chest costs 200 gold pieces, so you'll be able to get one of them out of this deal. But again, what is that exclusive content? And the article then goes on to say pretty much what I just did. Food-based tie-ins are nothing new, so perhaps this criticism is being unevenly applied. Or as I alluded to earlier, maybe now that the spotlight is back on the AAA companies and their anti-consumer business practices as opposed to some GamerGate distraction, a lot more people are taking it seriously. But the numerous tie-ins with Mountain Dew, Doritos, and Monster Energy Drink have at least been fodder for many online jokes and other parodies with gamers laughing at how ridiculous these tie-ins are, according to many. And believe me, people are going to be laughing at this too, except it's going to be like one of those sad laughs. And because they're coming to a single-player game that already has a series of gameplay-enhancing microtransactions placing the game in hot water, it seems the Totino's tie-in could be the straw that broke the camel's back. But as long as people are willing to put money into these promotions, they're going to keep happening. And at this point, again, we have no idea how much this premium currency is even going to cost, so maybe getting it through Totino's is actually going to be cheaper than just whooping out the credit card and buying the digital currency just directly. In that sense, if you were going to do it anyway, may as well take advantage of it. But again, exclusive content. Though you guys are going to have to advertise what it is before anyone goes in there and actually tries to get it, I'm going to say. But either way, that's what I would like to think, right? As long as people keep buying into it, they'll keep doing it, so all we gotta do is stop. Well, in the modern day whale economy, it's not that simple. Of course, many people will say that so long as people are buying into these microtransactions, then Monolith Productions are just giving the people what they want. But we know from many studies that the majority of gamers don't buy into microtransactions. In fact, most of the money paid into microtransactions in video games comes from a fraction of a percent of the people who play those games. Which makes perfect sense if you think about it. Say for instance you got 50 people that aren't buying into any microtransactions or any type of DLC. But then you got the one guy out there that ends up spending 4 to 5 figures. That more than balances out right there. That makes it worth it. Especially considering how little effort a lot of this content is. At this point, they literally are just cutting out content that would have, like 20 years in the past, just been added to the game for free, and making people gamble for a chance to get it. But of course, being a business, these companies are only in it to make money. So what do you do to make money when you've already gone that far? How much further can you push it? Well, obviously, exclusive content and tie-ins are the next logical step. And as for where it goes from there, hell, not even I can predict it. We're already living in some damn bizarro world where stories that would have been right at home on The Onion just a year ago are now being published as fact. That's the kind of world we live in right now. But I wouldn't be too surprised if at some point in, say, the next 5-10 years, we saw a system that replaces your character's, say, mana bar with your wallet. And how do you replenish it? Well, that should be obvious. Mark my words, man, it's gonna happen sooner or later. But yeah, this is the game industry in current year. So combine these anti-consumer business practices with SJW infiltration, and you gotta ask yourself, is this industry even worth saving at this point? Honestly, I'm starting to think that at this point the best thing that could happen is another crash and a rebuild. But considering how big and widespread the industry is, I don't see that happening. But when it comes to things like this, $60 games with microtransactions, you actually do have a say. Even if the vast majority of people don't spend money on microtransactions, you can get your point across by not even buying the game in the first place. This shit may be tolerated in free-to-play games, because at least there you understand that you can play the game for free because other people are dumping 4 or 5 figures into it. But when you already pay full price for it and it's single player, there's no excuse. Don't give them any money. That's the only way they're ever gonna get the point. And that's all I gotta say, guys. Thanks for listening.